That's enough to make me want to vote for Trump. Well, barely. That's a lie. But the point is, that was Smoky Mountain Barn Burner Bluegrass 18 hand clapping, toe tapping country favorites. And that's called Smoky Mountain. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the goddamn Cockadoodie Show. This is an episode called Jaffe Speaks, which means we're going to get a little bit of video game news. We're going to get a little bit of pop culture news. We're going to get some politics. We are not a lot. I'm not going to preach to you. In fact, I'm not going to preach to you at all. I want to show you two news stories. One of them is brought to you by the AP. The other is from CBS. So you might suggest maybe they're biased. That could be possible. But I want to, without any comments a little bit later in the show, I'm going to share them with you. And I want to get your thoughts. I want to talk about them. But we got game news. IGN Game Fest is now in full swing. Annapurna had their, I'm really bummed about this. Annapurna Interactive had their showcase today. And, where's Mixtape, man? Where's the game about the kids going on a road trip set to the background of beautiful 80s music that I grew up loving? I don't know where that is. Hopefully that's not dead. And then we've got Steam Next Fest is out. And a person in Congress, this is not about politics. This is about UFOs. It's about UFOs. She said something really interesting today that I keep checking to see if it's a deep fake, but so far I have not seen it. Let me pull this up and we'll get to it in just a second. Okay. And then I got to show you one of the greatest deep fakes of all time, and not just why it's a great deep fake, but how they used it. In the meantime, though, is it IGN Next Fest, Game Fest, whatever the fuck it's called? Is Tina the love of your life? She's really into you, Red Harlow says. Let me explain something to you. He's talking about the Lao Cow show, which will be on tonight at 8 o'clock over on the Lao Cow universe. Follow me on Twitter. You can see, we'll link it when we go live. I have been talking to my therapist. I have spent a lot of fucking money on this, and not a lot. I mean, I'm not saying like, basically if you do a therapy session, it's over the weekend and it's telehealth. It's like, it's one of those pull the emergency levers. And she's like, I'll see you, but it's going to cost you like triple. So I saw her 3 times this weekend. It's up and down. It's up and down. It's up and down. So right now I'm feeling okay, but we're going to focus on our topics on our show when we're here. And we will leave the beautiful love story and drama that exists in the Lao Cow universe to that particular channel. So, Tech Protect, get your old luchadorian asshole in here. How are you, sir?
Luchadorian?
Oh my God, there's the fan again. I go to Amazon, find me a fan. I will buy it for you and I will mail it to you in the mailbox because I can't. Luchadorian, well, because you're part Mexican, I wonder, did you have any luchadors that were in your the fuck are you fucking? What are you doing?
In my family? No, I'm moving the chair.
What is happening in your world?
The chair's old. The chair's like 8 years old.
Okay. No, did you not have any? Did you have any luchadors?
No, I come from a family of bakers.
Oh God!
Yeah,
not only have I made a mistake, my daughter has made a mistake. You come from a family of bakers. Well, that'll be a big help when the apocalypse starts.
I know how to make bread.
Yeah, that's true. Listen, PG says I go to my local strip club to see my therapist. Garrett says having a tough Monday, but thanks for making my work days better, Jaffe, delivery man over here. Garrett, my good sir, Garrett, we all love you very, very much. And thank you for being part of our community, Garrett. I appreciate it. And I love that hearing that your day is going a little bit better because we get to share it with you. Now, Tech Protect has put a link if you want to call in today. We are taking call-ins. And that's happening. So if you want to click on the top of the YouTube, you can call in right now and we can chat about whatever your beautiful heart's content. Okay. All right, let's get right into it, my delightful friends. What do we got for? I want to show you something. Oh, I need a sound effect for this. Let me I got a terrible sound effect, but let me grab one. Here you go. No, I need something that's a bit more. We'll get something better, but that is going to be the P turtle signal. When I shout that from the rooftops, I genuinely really need to talk to P turtle. I'm not even fucking with you. I've never needed this man before in my life, and suddenly I'm finding myself in a place where I actually need the motherfucker to call me. So Blackjack says, Jaffe, your entire channel is like having ADD because it makes no fucking sense. No, it's like having ADD when you're on your Concerta and Ritalin, bitch. Listen to this, you guys. So I got this comment, and I think it was the comment when I was doing a video about responding to Asmongold or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. And here's the comment, and it got me thinking. It's this guy called Tundra something. He says, act your age, LMAO. And that really stuck with me because most of the comments that come into my channel roll off my back. I don't care. They mean nothing to me. At most, I laugh about them, or I say, that's going to make good content. But when a comment really makes you stop scrolling, you go, that's pressing a button, right? That's pressing a button. And I'm like, why was it that act your age stuck with me? Even though he said LMAO, he's making a joke or whatever. And I think it's because everything from the fact that at 53 years old, I have kids that at least seem outwardly more mature than I am. I go on crazy shows like LOLcow. I do crazy shit on this show. And I was going to bed last night with this comment rolling around my brain pan, and I was just like, there is a sense of shaming that happens to people. And I can do one of two things, right? I can do one of two things. I'm not even fucking with you guys. I'm seriously looking for a conversation on this. I can say, I know what society wants me to be. I know what a 53-year-old man who has had children and had businesses and this, that, and the other, I know what I'm supposed to be, right? But forgive me if most people I see acting that way, I don't believe. Now, they may be genuine, right? Like I got a text from Eric Williams over the weekend saying, hey, are you coming to the God of War panel? And I'm starting to think I will, but it's, there's a 20th anniversary celebration thing, and I'm starting to think I'm going to go next month. And there's a rumor that they're going to announce that week the God of War 1, 2, 3 remaster, right? But so I'm sitting here going, okay, Eric is so his age. Corey is so his age. All the people that I see, these people that I have worked with, they seem like mature, normal adults. And I don't act like that, which makes me go, here's my question. Is it that I am really broken and deficient? And it's not that I need help. I'm not an unhappy person, but is there something wrong with me? Or is it that most people still laugh at 14-year-old humor? Most people still think shit like this stuff is funny, or not even funny, but just like, yeah, we all think stupid shit and do stupid shit, blah, blah, blah. But most people just prefer to hide it and squish it down. And I'm not judging anyone. I'm looking for actual advice. If someone's a therapist, I know we have some therapists that watch the show. It's not that I'm looking for free therapy, but I'm kind of looking for free therapy. If you want to call in, I would love to know why people look at me, because I feel like I'm being judged. The bigger this show gets, the bigger our media footprint gets, because we got Tech Protect pushing the boulder up the hill. We're doing the LOLcow. They're way more successful than us. This show, thanks to you guys, you're amazing, is finally starting to grow. And I'm starting to get more people getting eyes on us, and they're going, who is this old man who's acting like he's 14? But I'm going to tell you the truth. I still feel like I'm the 18-year-old kid that walked across the stage to get my diploma graduating from high school. Nothing but the physical body has changed. I mean, I guess I'd like to think I'm wiser. Act the way you feel, says Roadkill. You shouldn't feel like you need to change if you feel that way. Yeah, but why are people saying act your age to me? Why do people say act your age? Like, okay, so if you're saying nothing's wrong with me, then explain to me why most people look at me as a 53-year-old and kind of go, that's inappropriate. Why would you do that? We have a longtime member who just canceled his membership, Ravnos. A lot of it's because he's jealous because his wife wants to fuck me and not him. Her name is Jennifer, and her name will soon be Jennifer Jaffe. I love that alliteration, like, Reed Richards and whatnot, and Peter Parker, Jennifer Jaffe, right? But he canceled his subscription because he seems to be above my behavioral pattern. And I don't know. And it's not that I'm gonna. I mean, I hate when people leave. I like when they feel they're getting their money's worth. But it just makes me wonder, like, why am I like this? And are you like this? So if you are, let me know in the chat. Call in. We can talk about it. But I really am not. It's not a bit. I mean, you see the thing. This came from this Tundra guy. I want to know. Yeah. So Amex. That's a great point. He says it's a mechanism to keep society in line. I kind of think that's maybe true. And maybe it's because I am not beholden to anyone financially, that I don't have any consequences other than legal consequences, right? Which means maybe more people, if we had healthy blend between capitalism and socialism, maybe more people would be acting how they really are. But so many people really, really just seem to enjoy not letting their freak frag flap free. Hee hee. Tito. Listen to this. You just have ADD, says Bad Robo. It's a known fact ADD act more like kids. It doesn't mean they are not intelligent. Oh, I'm super intelligent. That's for goddamn sure. Yeah, I'm pretty impulsive. Okay. It's interesting, though. It's a control mechanism. See, that's what it feels like to me, but maybe I'm biased. Cameron says, act your age is just youth hypocrisy. I can act that way, but you can't. Could be. PG says, I think you, this is great. Tech Protect knows me in real life. Tech says, Tech, do you agree with this? He says, I think you kind of play a character for views, but I know you have said that how you really feel off camera. Let me explain something to you. The first time I met Tech Protect, when he came here to San Diego with my child, let me get rid of this. He and I, I don't remember if this is the first moment I met you, but it was absolutely the first day. And I had come in talking to my Chat GPT on my phone, talking about, it was something about some really weird sexual thing. It was corn girl. I asked the Chat GPT if it knew what a corn girl was. And it thought it was like a line from a song. And I started to explain, no, I met this corn girl in a bar. And she's like, look, if you really love me, you'll eat the corn out of my poo, because that's what a corn girl is. Now, I don't want to talk about corn girls right now, of course, but what I'm saying is, Tech, am I right? That was the conversation around the dinner table.
That was the first real conversation with Jaffe in person.
Yes, there is no character being played, my good friend. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'll pretend to care about, what title is number 1 or number 2 on the charts for video games when I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't know why you give a fuck. But other than that, no. Bobby the Mahdi says, I'm 29. My biggest fear is I'll become lame and unfunny. Buddy, well, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. You're not lame. And you give us hope for that life won't become a lame mess. All right. We got somebody in the chat who wants to talk. Who's called in? Embers Arcade, how you feeling these days, buddy? I know you had a rough couple of weeks.
Hey, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you. Are you hideously ugly? Why do you never put your face on the TV show?
Didn't I tell you once that I had a stalker?
Yeah, big deal. Everybody has stalkers. That's like that's a rite of passage.
Maybe. Well, I would prefer to keep it. I don't think I'm hideously ugly, but I'm an LA 6, let's say.
All right, fair enough. All right, so what's up, buddy? How you feeling? Are things a little bit better in your life?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm working through it and trying to get some coping mechanisms. But I don't want to harp on that too much.
Okay.
You were asking a little bit about trying to examine why it is that you are the way that you are against a world that seems to expect you to be different.
Please share your views.
I'm definitely not a licensed psychiatrist or psychologist or therapist.
But I'm aware you believe in God. Continue.
Yeah. You said something interesting. You said something along the lines of, perhaps because I'm not financially beholden to anyone, I can sort of be who I want to be. And I wonder if it isn't that you also aren't beholden at all to anything. I think that there's
you mean like the baby Jesus? Here it comes.
In my perspective, I would consider myself beholden to what I believe is a higher divine moral order, right? And so that orders.
Do you think I'm not have I ever behaved immorally or just stupidly?
I'm not saying that you're evil or anything. I'm not suggesting that. But what I'm saying is that not to be a personal attack or anything. But what I'm saying is that I
say what you want, baby.
I think I constantly am what would you call it? I'm contemplating the idea of the higher moral order. I'm contemplating the idea of how should I behave, assuming that, operating under the assumption that there's a God that has expectations of me. Now, I'm not saying that you should, but I'm saying that colors my reality, and it inspires me to behave in ways that I think make me very different from you.
Okay, hang on for a second. Give me an example of what this belief in a higher moral authority has made you behave in a way that you feel is different from me. It's fascinating to me.
Well, the first one is that the operative assumption after you accept that God exists, and again, I'm not saying that you should, but if
don't worry, I don't. Keep going.
Because I just don't want anyone to think that I'm preaching here. But assumption 1, God exists. Assumption 2, everything is made in the image of God, right? And so if I believe that people are made as an extension of a divine order, then it changes the way that I treat them. Even when I'm angry with them, I have to remind myself of that. It's a constant check against the way that I...
Right, but what I'm saying is, where in that belief system that you have, that faith system that you have you acted in a way that you feel I don't act because I don't have that same moral center that you have?
Well, I don't have a running list of how it is that you've behaved to compare.
But you said, though, the way you entered the argument, and this is why people get mad at me. They're like, you're always asking for examples. I'm like, yes, because when you accuse or bring up a point, it's just words until you can back it up with facts. So you said when you open this that you see the way you wouldn't do the things I do because you have this belief in this sense of a higher power, right? You said that.
Well, yeah, but let me pull it back a little bit.
Give me one thing I've done that you wouldn't do because your belief in your God.
Well, I wouldn't behave the way that you do on camera.
Give me an example. One thing.
Well, I wouldn't swear as often as you do.
Why?
Because I don't think that's ordered behavior.
Okay, talk about that. What's ordered behavior mean?
Well, I think that when you talk about human archetypes of personality, like the Jungian thing, right? I really think that the spectrum is along the lines of order and chaos. And I think that there are people that prefer to live lives that are ordered and structured. And then I think that there are people that reject that outright. And then the different colors of Jungian archetypes are along that spectrum. And I think it's very, very clear that you're along the lines of somebody that would reject being beholden to anything, right? That seems to be really important to you, that you're not financially beholden. You're part of the 1%, we could say.
Sure. Not in that way, but in that way, yeah, sure.
But I think that seems very important to you, to not be beholden. Whereas me, I'm not a wealthy person, and I have expectations that are put upon me by people that have more money and more status than me. But I live with the operative assumption that I am beholden to a higher power, and therefore that makes me...
So let's just take that. So the higher power, you're saying about cursing, the higher power doesn't want you to say the word fuck, fuckity fuck. Well, and if not, why? What's wrong with it?
It's not that there's something specifically wrong with the utterance of the word. It's that...
What word?
Of fuck.
Okay.
Well, I know how to swear. And let me make it clear that I have never once claimed to be a sinless person, right? So I swear plenty. But it's the motivation behind why would I introduce that word in my lexicon in whatever situation that I'm in?
Okay, so why would you not say it as it relates to being beholden to the higher power? That's what I want to know.
Well, because I think that it's rude. I think that it's disruptive. I think that there are more responsible ways to describe something, even when you're angry. I think it suggests a lack of tact.
Doesn't it suggest, though, that you are not willing to simply accept and maybe here's the real difference between us, and it applies to your willingness to say you have been trained or told that these words are tactless, right? I have chosen to say there are words that are tactless and cruel. The N word for Black folks, the F word for gay folks, the T word for trans folks. I don't say those because they're hurtful, but words like shit, fuck, cunt, whatever, I say all the time. And because I push back on the assumption that has been force-fed to us that those words are bad. And it's like, what are you playing, D&D and it's a magical spell? There's nothing fundamentally bad about that word. I think this is how we're different, and it goes to your higher power. It's not that I refuse to believe there's a higher power. I just simply demand to go, I won't have faith there is. I need to have some aspect of my brain shift, whether it's DMT, whether it's having a religious experience, maybe it's the same thing, whether it's Jesus coming to me in the form of George Burns and Oh God and talking to me. Until that happens, I'm going to continue to question. Whereas you seem to be like the kind of person that you're like, oh, I just accept what's fed to me. And that may make you a happier person, by the way. I'm not saying that's bad, but I do think that's a life left unexamined, don't you?
I think that that's a completely That's the apotheosis.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what
it's the diametric opposite of how it is that I arrived at the conclusion that I arrived at about my belief structure. It is because
so what I just said is wrong.
It is because I questioned my atheism that I arrived at the place that I'm at. I was an atheist for 20 years.
And I'm not an atheist either, by the way. I'm totally not an atheist. I think atheism is just as kind of short-sighted as being religious. But that said, what was it that you questioned that made you, what was the moment where you said, oh my God, I've been questioning my atheism and wrestling with it, and now I've become a Catholic?
Well, I can't.
Come on, yes, don't.
No. I'm not saying that I can't. What I'm going to say is that I can't reconcile my own existence against a lack of belief in an intelligent designer.
Okay,
it's like the teleological argument, for example, is very compelling to me, which is that nothing in nature has ever existed without a cause.
So two questions to that. Number one is that may very well be true, but there are two more likely reasons why that is. The first one is there may very well have been a conscious thought put into creating you, but that could have been the programmer of a simulation. That could have been a higher evolutionized group of aliens that planted seeds like the engineers and aliens. There's a lot of other things that could have created us other than Jesus and the Bible. Would you not agree?
No.
Why?
Because I believe that I was created by an inspired divine being.
Okay, but that is you bringing things into it, and that's fine, by the way, that you don't know. But if you're saying your atheism was defeated by the question of I can't explain my existence without belief in a higher power, that tracks to an extent, although there are other explanations. But what doesn't track logically is you can arrive at the conclusion that, yes, maybe something created you, but then to say, and you know what it was? It's this guy in this book that was clearly written by people and edited by people over the last 2,000 years.
Right, but this book is not insignificant. And it
doesn't matter. The point is you're choosing to believe something. I think your wrestling isn't done yet. I think
it's not without.
And the other thing it could be, forget aliens, forget simulation. The other thing it could be is simply the fact that, you know, just like if you live in a two-dimensional plane, you can't really conceptualize three dimensions. We live in a three-dimensional world. We can't conceptualize the fourth dimension, which is basically time. We don't, so the idea of what came before, what came after, a higher dimensional being or an animal that thinks different may look at this and go, what's the existential crisis, pal? Everything's happening at the same time, right? There's a lot of reasons that clearly you haven't wrestled with, and you've just gone past go. You did not collect 200, and you've gone to, how am I here? Jesus.
No.
I think you have more work to do, Ember. Thank you for calling in. I want to have you. Okay, you get the last. No. Get the last word.
Because there's two things, Jack.
You get the word, go.
There's the utility of this, right? The utility being that if you take on a belief structure like this, which imposes responsibility on a person, the utility is the result of those behaviors being desirable for anybody. If you were to accept that there is a moral framework which suggests an objective moral existence that has to come from a higher consciousness, then your life improves as a result. That is utility. That's not fate.
Last word, not last paragraph, Ember.
Okay, but wait a minute, Ember. Hang on. Leave him on for 1 second. The problem with that argument, though, is you are incapable, as any human is incapable, of taking anything that is just simply morally good or bad. There are always shades of gray. You could say taking a child and ripping his head off will always be a bad thing. And I could argue, no, it would be awful.
I would love to hear you argue that there's a good case to rip off a child's head.
Here you go. I'll do it right now. Okay. There is a child who is the son of a mass murderer, and the mass murderer has basically shoved the clicker that will turn off the nuke that he's planted in New York City. And the only way to get to it is to decapitate the child and pull it out of, his skull. No. You can laugh because it's crazy and it's hypothetical, but that is a scenario.
Are you? Okay, let's kick it up a notch if you can do that. What is the case for morally good child rape? Go.
Again, easy. I have a nuke detonator. I will kill every person, including every child in this city, if you don't bring that kid I saw on the Disney Channel to me and let me have my way with them.
Buddy, that is wild that you would. I mean,
I would,
but that's the difference between our worldviews. That I don't see how.
So you would let 1 million people die in order to save one child. from not even death, but from a horrible, horrible, soulful death, which would be being abused.
See, but you have to extrapolate the example into this other hypothetical in which there's other death that could be caused. I'm talking, isolate the act of child rape, isolate it, and argue that it can be morally good.
Of course, it's terrible, but it's terrible.
Why? Against what metric?
Because against the metric of we are inclined to not be assholes, I think.
Where does that inclination come from?
It probably comes from evolution, but it may come from something, a higher power.
So what is evolution? Is it just something from nothing? It's just inclination.
No, of course not. Do you have
information based on nothing?
Of course not. But no, come on. You don't know much about evolution, do you?
I know a great deal about evolution.
Okay, then if you do, you wouldn't ask that question. It's not based on nothing. It's based on the fact that, let's say, hundreds of thousands of years ago, there were people who did not get born with the traits of empathy, right? And they couldn't put themselves in other people's shoes. And those people died out because they were bad for the tribe. They were bad for the people. People fucking hated them. But the people that got random genetically served with empathy, those people were able to carry on the race of humans. And that genetic trait seeded into everyone else or into a lot more people. Of course, again, somebody in the chat said we can have creationism and evolution. Absolutely. If there is a creator, it's very possible that he's playing, what's the guy's name? Will Wright's, whatever that, what was Spore? And that character is just going around planning all these things and then watching what happens. I think both could be alive.
But I would like to make it clear that the idea of evolution is not incongruous with faith. As a matter of fact, the Catholic Church
great. So what I'm saying is, with evolution, aren't you into a position there where it's like empathy could easily just be a biological aspect that created more of a survival percentage for us, and that's why it moved into the evolutionary chain and. Sociopaths mostly got weeded out.
No, what you're saying is that empathy sprung out of nothing by some cosmic accident.
No, well, if you believe in evolution, it's all a cosmic accident. So sure.
But so you look at your child or your two children, and you look at them and you say you're just a cosmic accident. You're just you're just a chemical accident. You're the universe being aware of itself, and your life is meaningless.
Wait a minute. I am not atheist.
Jaffe has reset, it looks like.
Okay, are we back? I think we're back.
Back, Jaffe.
Yeah. What I was going to say is I look at my kids, I look at my life, and I say, I don't know. That's why I'm agnostic. That's why I'm not atheist. But being agnostic means your mind remains open to question this shit.
I think this goes back to what the beginning of the conversation is, that being agnostic is getting the opportunity to be beholden to nothing. And I'm
beholden to my kids. I'm beholden to my friends.
But why?
Because I love them.
Kids. But where does that love come from?
I don't care. I don't know. It could come from biology. It could come from a God. It could come from the baby Jesus. I don't know. I just know it's there. But what I'm not willing to do is attribute it to something just because it makes me feel better.
Well, that's a oversimplification of the reason.
All right, well, I got to let you go, Ember. I love talking to you, but other people want to talk, and I'm starting to get good at realizing when I leave somebody on too long, we lose viewers. But you have that sweet spot, baby. It's always great talking to you, even though we disagree.
Likewise.
Please call back, buddy. All right. See you, bud. All right. Let's keep moving on. It has nothing to do with the person. I can listen to this debate. Yeah. I mean, I love these debates, Jay, but it's just that I gotta jump to topics. Otherwise, it's kind of a potpourri here. But if you guys want them back, let me know. The Jostler, thank you. He says the Catholic Church doesn't care about child rape. Well, that's fucking true. I mean, yeah, that's fucking true. I know what you mean. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't people in there, Jostler, that are concerned, but yeah, let's speak about that. We're not going to stay on religion too much longer. I just have one more religious thing.
Jaffe is gone.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know. You're clicking something.
No, I'm just clicking share this tab. All right. Well, as long as the stream stays, if you see me kind of pop out, I'll be back in seconds. I don't know what's going on. But here's something I'm curious about, right? So the Pope is in critical condition. Catholic, apparently this guy's supposed to be the vessel of God to speak through him on earth, right? And apparently the Vatican is asking for people's thoughts and prayers. I'm sure the Republicans will help out with that, but they're asking for people's thoughts and prayers, and that's great. Sounds like he's improving. That's great, But here's the question, right? So why why in the world, if this guy has a direct line, either a literal direct line, like he, speaks to him in his head and or his dreams, or, he has a vibe, however he claims to be able to speak to God, why do we need to pray for the Pope? Why is the Pope even sick? I mean, think about it. If correct me if I'm wrong here, but if my understanding of the Pope's relationship with God is true, then if he's getting sick and he dies, isn't it because God would prefer another Pope? Or isn't it because God wants to bring this guy, quote, home? Why in the goddamn cockadoodie world? It's kind of like I went to college, wonderful guy, great successful guy in Hollywood. He still may be, but at the time he was a Christian Science person, and I think that was like they didn't take medicine. So even when they had headaches, they were like, "We're not going to take medicine. God will take care of it." And so I'm just kind of like, if you're a Catholic and you have that hardcore belief in God, why the fuck would you even hospitalize the guy? Let him sit out on the veranda, and if he feels better on the weekend, great. If he passes away, I guess God took him home. I just don't get it. I was just going to bring it up. If you guys understand it or appreciate it, I would love to talk about it. Okay, we are going to get into games and geek stuff. I do have two political things. This is not only a political show, but just so you know, when it says Jaffe Speaks and not Gabbin' and Games, what it means is we're going all over the place, and it's whatever catches my fancy and your fancy today. Okay. So I'll talk about whatever you want to. Again, I'm still very upset that we haven't heard from P Turtle. I hope he's okay. I need to ask him a very important question. Smoke Illusia says, because Jaffe, the Pope, is a human being. I understand he's a human being, but he also has a direct connection with God. You're telling me the Pope isn't like, hey, God, I know I'm a human, but if you're happy with what I'm doing down here, could you take care of me and get rid of this disease? Or, hey, man, if I'm not doing a good job as Pope, I'll quit, or just don't kill me, or I get it, kill me, and I'll tell people not to pray for me. God is calling me home. But it doesn't really make any sense to me. Eternal says what I think we all deep down know: religion is a form of control. Depending on who's in control, they can do good and bad, but I really feel people would be fine without it. It's about role models and providing basic needs. We know that's true. We absolutely know that's true. And here's how we know that's true: because Donald Trump is president. Whatever you think of Donald Trump's political policies, whatever they may be on any given day, depending on who's paying the bills, one thing we know is, morally speaking, I think Ember's Arcade, even if he maybe did vote for Trump, I don't know if he did, and I would agree that Donald Trump is not a moral person. He doesn't treat others well, and he's done some pretty awful things. Doesn't mean he won't be a great president for you, but you got to accept that. And people will go, I'll vote for that, right? They'll vote for anything that will give them a sense of making their lives better. And if it's not Donald Trump, it's religion. And sometimes it's like you said, it's a good person. Sometimes it's a bad person. That's what I would say. Now, let's move on. Couple political stories, and then we are absolutely out of the political woods, and we will get into some gaming news and some geek news. But I want to show you this. It's a 3-minute news clip from a town hall, and I just want to see what you think about it. It's 3 minutes long. Don't get all pissy at me. Here we go. I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to taint you. I don't want to give you a sense of what this should be or what your response should be. I just want to see what you think. Here we go.
Well, a woman in North Idaho was dragged from a town hall meeting when she spoke out against the policies being discussed. Organizers say she was disrupting the meeting. Abby Wilt has been tracking the fallout today. Abby, what did you learn?
Hunter, it was at a Kootenai County Republican Central Committee Legislative Town Hall. Teresa Bourne-Paul came as a resident to listen to lawmakers, and she ended up in the emergency room.
You're assaulting us. You're letting people.
Teresa Bourne-Paul was attending a Kootenai County Republican Central Committee Legislative Town Hall Saturday, discussing topics like Medicaid and school vouchers, when she was forcibly removed from the meeting.
All of our elected officials in Kootenai County and surrounding areas are all Republican, and so that is why the Republican Party did the town hall. The auditorium was full.
Bourne-Paul, who has previously run for a seat in the Idaho House as a Democrat, tried to ask a question during a discussion about reproductive rights. Her friends, Megan Kuntz and Tamara Saenz Cremelis, tell KTVB legislators would not take the question.
They even used the words "shut up"
Yeah.
at one point. And so, yes, she said, "Is this a lecture or a town hall?"
There's an opportunity for you to stand up.
Bornfall was first approached by Sheriff Bob Moran.
You know, the thing is,
my name is Robert Norris. I'm the Sheriff of this county. We're asking you to leave on video. Please get up or be escorted out.
Sheriff Norris asked her to leave, then grabbed her.
Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me. Let's go. You're going to be escorted out.
I just happen to have a nice offer on.
Okay, I'm asking you to go. You want pepper spray?
Then Norris called in 3 unmarked security officers.
Nobody knew who these people were that were assaulting her and pulling her away.
Who are these guys? Who are these guys? Show your badge. Who are you? Don't touch her.
They pulled her out of her seat.
And she wasn't doing anything threatening. She was sitting in her seat, not doing anything threatening.
And into the hallway while Sheriff Norris filmed. Kuntz and Signs Cremelis say the MC of the event spurred it on.
He called her a little girl multiple times. Also said, you know, your voice is useless or doesn't want to be heard here.
Look at this. This little girl is afraid to leave. She spoke up.
Kuntz and Signs Cremelis, as well as Coeur d'Alene police, say Bornfall was cited. The battery charge stems from allegations that she bit one of the security officers.
In my opinion, that sounds like self-defense.
Kootenai County Republican Central Committee posted on Facebook saying Bornfall was arrested and that she disrupted the town hall and vocally cheered for any DEI initiatives.
It was evident that dissent was
Not being tolerated.
And I have reached out to Kootenai County Republican Central Committee.
All right, so there you go. What do you think? I mean, I have an opinion, I'll share it, but I want to hear what you guys think first. So I'll wait for you guys either to call in that story, put it in your brain pan, and, you know, we can talk about it in just a little bit. I want to see what your head's at. Yeah, I like that his name was Chuck Norris, though. Jostler, I'm glad I live in a blue state as well. Absolutely. All right, I'll let you guys, let me get the next story queued up in the meantime. While I'm waiting to see if you guys have anything to say. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. Okay. All right, I want to show that in a minute. Who wants to say something? I need somebody to call in. I need a voice. I need a voice. You can click it at the top of the YouTube. I did see that Eternal, an ex-punter the other day was protesting MAGA at a town hall and got arrested. I don't know if he was arrested for protesting. I think he was arrested because he started to approach the people on the panel and they were worried, at least they said, for their safety. I don't think it was actually, he was arrested just for speaking. Yeah, see, worse Jago in the chat worries me, you guys. It's not so much that I don't appreciate people with different opinions to a large degree. But here's what Worst Jago says. Says, act like a clown and be destructive and get treated like a clown. Same applies to any public gathering like sports events, etc. Well, the problem, Worst Jago, is I don't know if you're paying attention to that story, okay? Let me ask you this, Worst Jago, and I would love for you to call in. All you have to do is click the top. You don't have to be on the camera. You just use your voice. But are you telling me that nothing in that story bothers you? That's what I would like to know first. Are you saying that that woman, everything she did was problematic and everyone around her who was not supportive of her, that's the way it should have gone down and been played? Because that's what I hear a lot from people. I hear a lot of people when people are dissenting, that say things like, well, you know, you shouldn't have acted that way. Right. And I'm just curious, Worst Jago, if you actually think everything that you saw in that video for you, I don't know if you're American or not, but does that feel to you like that's acceptable in a country, certainly in a country like America? I would love to know that. Which says anyone saying she deserved it won't be able to explain why she deserved it and will use the same bullshit terms like little girl. I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. Smoke says, I'm very right-leaning. Removing someone voicing themselves at a town hall meeting is disturbing and goes against all the values our country stands for. Yeah. Let me bring on, I want to talk to Tech, and if you want to call in, then I'll get some more of the chat and then I'll give you my take on it, because it's a little nuanced, but not that nuanced, but it's a little nuanced. Why are the houses in San Diego on inclines? Peapod, I'll tell you what, it never ceases to amaze me how you can just laser focus in on exactly the one thing we're not fucking talking about. I love it. I fucking love it. Tech, are you there?
Hello.
What do you think? What do you think about this? Do you think, you live in Vegas, would this have gone over well in Vegas? This was in Iowa or Idaho or some such shit.
No.
What do you think about it? You're more Republican, or you're more conservative than I am.
You think I'm conservative?
More conservative than I am, is what I said. You have guns that don't have racks and they're just laying around your house waiting to kill your dog by accident.
That's the most liberal thing in the world.
What do you think about this, though? I want to know about this. Let's stick to the topic, sir.
I don't think I would put up with it if I saw it in person. I think I would stand up for the woman.
Well, what do you think about the fact that no one stood up for this woman?
I think that's
Not
wild.
a single person in that auditorium. And let's be clear, it's not that I have a problem with the fact that, you know, if you are in a town hall and you go up to the microphone and you say your piece and you're not allowed to speak, them's fighting actions, right? If you're sitting in the audience, if you're sitting in the audience and you are just constantly shouting and being disruptive, then I think it makes all the sense in the world, whatever it is you're saying, unless everybody's like, yeah, and cheering and stuff. And the guy's like, order, order. But if, you know, let's assume she was constantly disrupting the proceedings, I would say, yeah, of course, if she's not up there going through the proper procedure, she needs to, you know, be asked to leave. And if she doesn't leave, then the cops, I think, have a right to say it's time to go. Right. I think that's totally fine.
What's your take on the BLM protesters that like took over the Bernie?
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. I want to stick with this for a minute, though. So here are my takes on this. Right. The most worrying thing to me was the fact that you had one guy who identified himself as the sheriff. He didn't show a badge, but okay, maybe he was. And then you had these other two undercover cops, and then when they were asked to show a badge, they did not show the badge, right? And they just started accosting her and dragging her out. So I would say, if I'm in that audience, I would like to think I would be the kind of guy that would stand up and say, wait a fucking minute. You have a right to ask her to leave, and if she doesn't, you have a right to hopefully kindly, forcibly remove her. But we don't know who these people are. For all we know, you're a bunch of fucking, you know, rapists and shit. And so the fact that she bit them, I would hope she did that and more, because they didn't identify themselves. And so that and the lack of the ability for the audience, anyone to stand up and go, what the fuck, is a problem to me. That, and then the fact that they were talking down to her, and then even after the fact saying, well, she was booing any DEI initiative. So, right? I mean, that's where it starts to feel like, okay, this goes beyond, she didn't just have a disruptive nature. Her actual First Amendment rights were being trampled on by the government. And I would like to think there's a pretty fucking hefty fucking lawsuit coming.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
Yeah, it was mostly women there. So what, Cheetah Man? Women are tough. They can stand up. You know, what does this guy say? Town halls give people a chance, says Jago, to speak at their own podium. She was heckling and being disruptive. She chose to allow them to drag her out instead of leaving on her own. Right. So what I'm saying, Jago, is if she was being disruptive, that's not anti-dissent. It wasn't like the Facebook post said, oh, she was constantly heckling and being disruptive. It said she was clapping and cheering or booing whenever anything about DEI came up. And that's what everybody does at a town hall. It doesn't mean she was interrupting, but if she was heckling and being disruptive, you are absolutely right, Jago. Ask her to leave. If she doesn't leave, you can hopefully in a respectful way forcibly remove her. Where it gets problematic is the Facebook post from the Republicans, the guy on the stage that was like, look at this little girl being super misogynistic, the audience that was clapping. No one in the audience was helping when they asked these undercover cops to identify themselves. Those are the things I think that are really, really worrisome and will probably get her a shit ton of money. A shit ton of money. Chris, you're not listening. Why do people not listen? Chris says heckling is asking questions. How? Good grief. Let me ask you, Tech. Did anybody say that I supported her right to be disruptive? Did I communicate that?
No.
So what's wrong with Chris where he writes heckling is now asking questions? Good grief. What do you think's wrong with the guy's brain? Why would he assume I said that she was allowed to disrupt the meeting?
The comment about they're using her First Amendment rights, like they're taking away her First Amendment rights.
They are taking her First Amendment rights in the sense that if what the Republican website said, which is we wanted her out because she was clapping and booing and hissing like the rest of the audience was clapping, even in that video and making responses. And they had her out because of that. That would be worrisome. They shouldn't have said that unless it was true. And if it's true, she's probably going to sue the shit out of them. What's the video? One on the video is wrong, regardless of if she had a right to be there or not. Of course, she had a right to be there. The number one thing that is legally wrong just on the video is the fact that when the cops were asked to identify themselves, they didn't. There were no badges. There were no names. There was nothing. They were just some undercover guys that showed up. And that was good enough for the audience to go, no, that's probably legit. Probably legit. That's what's wrong with it. Ask yourself if it was your girlfriend or your wife, Eternal, if you were capable of getting one, and somebody came in and started dragging her out because let's say she was being disruptive and she's like, I don't know who these people are. Wouldn't you go, wait a second, motherfucker. I don't mind if you're following the law, but you got to show some fucking ID. That's what was wrong, is what I would say. Let's bring in, who do we got here? We got Ravnos. There he is. Here is Jennifer's husband himself. I'm glad she gave you use the phone. What's going on, buddy?
Nothing. First, I'll give you my take on this. My brother's a cop.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to believe that he wouldn't behave like that.
Yep.
But unfortunately, I've known several cops in my life. Most of them are not what I would call mentally moral. Once you become a cop, it kind of fucking scars you in a way that makes you have like a superiority complex and you feel kind of invulnerable because you sort of have to in a way, which I sympathize with cops. I'm not anti-cops. I'm just 1000% anti-police unions. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all because. So,
do you talk to your brother about this and does he agree or have you seen him change?
I don't, because I would much rather not know what he thinks, if you get what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like I love my brother, but at the same time, I don't really like him all that much because of a lot of the corruption from his stupid fucking Christian wife.
Oh, I hate her.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, like he was for a perfect example. Both of my brothers are bigger than me. I'm adopted. I'm 6'2".
That's because how old were you when you were adopted?
0. Literally, the adoption papers were signed before I came out of my biological mother.
But she could tell immediately when she was pregnant she didn't want you because it was you.
She was a feeling you were riding. She was 15 and very Catholic with a hardcore like Mel Gibson type Catholic father. So it was like in Ireland, you don't have a choice. They just the church just takes the baby.
And so you have a history from the beginning, really, of people not wanting you around.
Sure.
I understand.
I see what you're doing.
Now it's starting to all come together. Okay, keep going, please.
But no, it just cops, they might seem like nice guys, but the more you talk to them, you realize that there's just something wrong with them. Like they're always ready to snap. whether it's beat the shit out of someone or whip out their gun, or like a perfect example, my cousin's ex-husband was a cop, and we went out to like a public mall, like an outdoor mall in Southern California, and he's off duty and he brings his gun, and it's like, dude, why are you bringing your gun?
And what did he say?
Because I'm a cop, I have to be there to protect the public. It's like, you're off duty. It's not your job to possibly shoot an innocent bystander, like what happens all the time when off-duty cops think they're fucking cowboys. But
Right.
I just, it's one of those things. Like I said, I don't hate cops. They're a necessary evil in
Out
society.
of all of the technology that's replacing jobs, would you agree that if we can make it work, we should have robot cops sooner than later?
No.
Well, then because isn't it always the bad training and they get the like, I know one of the worst bullies from my high school is a fucking sheriff in a podunk little rinky dink fucking town in Birmingham, Alabama right now, or in Alabama, not Birmingham. I mean, they always seem to get the people, like you said, that are morally deficient and easily manipulated. And sometimes I wonder, do they do that on purpose? Do they do that because those people can be led around by the nose and told what to do, and they're not going to ask any questions?
Well, yes and no, but honestly, a lot of people that become cops, they go there with the best intentions. And then if they don't kind of play the boys in blue game, and they do the thing you never want to do as a cop is rat out a cop. They're like the fucking mafia, dude. Like, if you say, hey, I was on patrol with so-and-so and they planted evidence, or they fucking threatened someone's life, or they pulled their gun when it wasn't needed. You know what happens to you? They destroy your career. They threaten your family. Your wife will call saying like, oh my God, why are there police cars outside of our house every single day while you're at work? They intimidate. It's just like the mafia. They literally, it is pushed. It is, no one talks about it, but it happens.
Yeah, it seems like,
and
it
I know
does
for a
because
fact
it explains a
happens.
lot of weird behavior. Tech, will you do me a please big favor? Do not forget to remind me after this stream. We need to look into why my volume is constantly sliding down and I'm having to always adjust it. It just did it again. When I talk into my mic, it drops. It's weird. Maybe it's like AI going, dude, you're horrible. Stop saying things.
I was listening to the religious talk.
Yes. What'd you think about? Oh yeah, you were driving. What'd you think about that, Ravenous?
It's frustrating.
Thank you for your contribution.
It's frustrating because it's like, I believe that Christ is Lord. Why? Because someone told me. Okay, well, if someone told you that a kangaroo could fart missiles, would you believe it too? No. Okay, what if it was in a book that's 3,000 years old? No. Okay, what's the difference?
Well, you do have to understand that it's not about logic with a lot of folks, right? It's just like with certain political candidates. Logic is not you're not going to get them with logic. And it doesn't mean that they're stupid by any means. I don't think Ember's Arcade is an unintelligent human, but I think you're not going to get people like that with logic. So a lot of left people and progressive people will try to act like this is so obvious. Can't you see? And it's like, that's not how you get to them. For some reason, maybe, but for some reason, I don't know why Ember can make it halfway out of the cave when it comes to sort of questioning why things are the way they are. And then he just is like, it's like you're on the right track. What is happening? We don't understand it. What could this mean? This contradicts this. Good. And then suddenly he goes from questioning and curious to like, oh, here's a book of probable fairy tales. I'll go with that. And it's like, what happened?
And when I say brainwashing, I don't mean like, oh, people get you in a room and they freaking
it's more subversive.
Slow. Look, here's what I'll say. Maybe someone in chat who's Christian can answer this, or specifically Catholic. Okay, the Catholic Church believes that if you are not baptized at the time of death, you do not go to heaven, because you are not.
It depends on the real. This is the worst part about it. Is if you tell that to someone that actually knows a specific religion. I think certain religions are different, or sects are different, but there are a number of Christianity sects that will say, well, in fact, we had someone on the other day arguing against septic sauce about Christianity, Jews, and Muslims. And apparently it was just like, the Christians don't send you to hell anymore in certain religions. They're just kind of like, you'll be okay. Maybe you'll go to limbo, maybe you'll restart or whatever, but it's no longer just, oh, you're going to hell. But yeah, I hear you.
You have to stop sliding the volume. It is jolting for everybody.
Okay, so if I just leave it, even if it's low.
Yeah, just speak closer to the mic.
Okay.
Weird, I don't hear that.
I know, it's very strange. But here's the thing though, right? So if you regardless of that, the fact that has even changed, the fact that you believe in a religion that just sort of over the decades you're allowed to reinterpret the word of God. Why would the word of God need reinterpreting? Was he not good enough at his wisdom to be clear at the beginning?
Well, how about this? Christians seem to have this ability to ignore all the stuff in the Bible they do not like and then hone in on the stuff they do. But
that's not Christians. That's every religion. That's every political party. That is tribalism. True. That's got nothing to do with religion.
And when I say Christians, keep in mind, there are Christians that keep their mouth shut. They don't proselytize to you all the time. They're not like constantly bringing up the word of God and that. But I'm talking like the ones especially that are like you see on social media that are always pushing God. Those women are not covering their hair. That's part of the Christian part of the Bible as well as the Muslim part of the Bible. But yet they pretend like it's not. Instead, they pretend like Jesus was against the gays and is anti-trans, even though there's
nothing. Yeah.
It's like, come on.
But there is stuff in the Bible that says, hey, you want to own a slave? Go for it.
There's even worse than that. If you go back to the Jewish part of the Bible, they literally tell you if you conquer another civilization or city, you can take children and rape them as your wife. But here's the rules. Number one, you have to make sure you kill all of the males able to produce children.
Yeah.
Any of the women who have been touched by man. So that leaves only the girls.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I get it. It's all crazy.
Yeah,
all right.
shave their head.
Thank you, buddy.
Yep.
I'll talk to you later. Peapod says, cringe imagine. I don't have to imagine. I'm doing it right now. Cringe. Imagine simplifying a theology to a meme. I bet people who are told the universe is made of atoms don't know the specifics of how they work. Again, this is the difference though, right? I am agnostic. Okay. Do I believe science thinks the universe it's actually not made of atoms. It's made of quarks as far as we know. And even then the majority of the universe, from my understanding, is empty. It's void. And things only exist when we perceive them, blah, blah, blah. But who knows? And that's the joy of being agnostic. We live in a very confusing experience. And the idea of saying you know anything, the reason I give science more of a pass is they accept, like, we don't know. This is what we can observe when we do our research. And this is kind of what looks to be valid, but they change it after going through the scientific method. Well, cut version, he says. By the way, Tech, please remind me to extend the voice recording because it cuts off. Venom Quest, thank you for the super chat. I agree, by the way, about beginning to resemble the new cut version. But the problem with this is that your wife pays me every night and she's like, I don't know why she likes that version more. I'm like, I can do the original. And she's like, no. I like to pay for my men to be like the dad bod, boy of war version. So talk to her, man. She pays well. But that said, thank you for paying well too and contributing to the show. I appreciate it, buddy. Okay. But yeah, about science and shit, man. What I'm saying is that I don't know. But I'm okay saying I don't know. That's fine. But that's why I say that if you are atheist, unless you're atheist about specific religions, like I'm atheist when it comes to Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism. Like I believe tenets of those philosophically. They're all some beautiful thinking, but I don't believe any of the fairy tale parts. But I'm an agnostic when it comes to, is there a creator of this? I don't know. Maybe. But we'll find out. Maybe, or maybe we won't. Yeah, Nubulax just says atheist just means you lack You lack belief in the existence of a god or gods. Yeah, and that's why, yeah, I'm agnostic. Okay. Should we move on? Tech Protect, are we ready to get off this shit and get to some UFO news, or do we want to stay on this? I want you to read the audience. You're the producer, and I need you to kind of put your producer hat on and go, what do these people on their
they're engaging with it.
I gotta set you up. It's a Monday here in San Diego and in Vegas. It's 3:45. We're still in the prime of our afternoon. A lot of these people are driving home from work. A lot of these people have settled in. They're having their early dinner. A lot of these people are working late, right? Where do their heads want to go? What do they need from you and I? Because we are ultimately a service provider. What do they need from you and I to continue, hopefully, making their day or early evening a little bit better than it was before we walked into their lives?
It's time for some UFO news. They love to see you passionate about some stuff. I think we've hit the religion thing a little too hard already. We can just go on.
Okay, and we've moved into politics. We can move on from the politics as well.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's go on to UFOs.
Okay. I want to play you this clip. Now, I need you to listen to this, and I need you to parse this woman's words, okay? Because, and again, she could be full of shit, right? I'm not saying because she said it, it's true, but this is interesting. I just want you to listen to what she says. This is Representative Luna, who runs the task force of government transparency, I guess is what she had a press conference a few weeks ago saying we're going to get into it with Kennedy and the assassinations and UAPs and all this shit, right? And she's Congresswoman. She was a United States Air Force veteran. She's Congresswoman from Florida. So here we go. This is what she said Friday, and I'm just now seeing it. Listen to this. 22 seconds. Don't be a baby. Let's take her off. Let's put her on. Here we go.
Secret security clearance are being denied access. That's not a free and true government. And so for us, especially being that we have now a Secretary of State who's actually open to declassification in Marco Rubio, we're hoping to present that information and at least acknowledge it from a government perspective that we are not alone, but also let's see what the evidence is.
And that was it. What do you guys think about that? I mean, she literally said, correct me if I missed it. We hope to present the evidence that at least from the government. Let's hear it again.
Being that we have now a Secretary of State who's actually open to declassification in Marco Rubio, we're hoping to present that information and at least acknowledge it from a government perspective that we are not alone, but also
we hope to acknowledge from a government perspective that we are not alone. Isn't that the government saying, Nubulax, that's not true. The government always says this and then nothing or denies everything. They have not come out ever and said, we are not alone. And again, she could be lying her ass off. I'm not suggesting that she's telling the truth, but am I reading her? Am I parsing English correctly? And the reason I ask is because somebody in the comments said, where did it go? Somebody said she didn't say we are not alone. Move on, folks. And I'm like going, but she did. She did say that. Right? She says we are hoping to present the evidence that we are not alone. So the hope has more to do with, or everything to do with not being alone, or not the evidence. When she says our hope is to present, they want to present the evidence. That's where the hope lies. The evidence itself that suggests we are not alone sounds like it's clear that she's saying we are not alone, or that the evidence shows we're not alone. Peapod says, if the government says we're not alone, why do I feel so alone? Yeah, that's a good point. Why would they say that? Why would they know either way? Well, because, there's all these stories of these UAPs and task force and stuff that have been set up, and whistleblowers that are now coming forward and providing the evidence to them. So look at that. Jay Styles says, I knew listening to a Jaffe Talks in a car with a family would be a wild ride. I welcome the chaos. Yeah, who said that? I want to talk to the family. I'm going to talk to them. Where did they go? This is somebody's in the car going to somebody's birthday. Let's give her. Listen, it's Jay Styles. I'm in the car with my mom taking her to her birthday dinner. I'm being judged. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Jay Styles' mommy. He came out of your vagina. Yeah, and you remember it. Now it's uncomfortable and awkward because he was down there where your vagina is, and that's not appropriate. Happy birthday to you. I love that song. It's going to number one, boys. Going to number one. I spoke to my homegirl, says Mr. K, who works for The Debrief. It's a UFO journalism outlet. She's friends with all the UFO government people, and they told me they've been looking hard and finding nothing. So what would she say then about this story, Mr. K? That's what I would like to know. That's what I would like to know. When she says evidence, says Mr. K, she's talking about whistleblower statement. She has not seen anything that would blow your mind. I know this is a fact. My homegirl literally just spoke with Luna. Okay, so she is saying that she has whistleblower statements that say we are not alone. I mean, they've been saying that forever. Okay, all right. Oh, I'm glad she started out laughing, and now what she's doing. And Wayne B says, now you're driving off a cliff. Oh, I know. I'm here to make your day awkward and uncomfortable, Jay Styles. You know I love you with all my heart and soul. Okay, I'm going to give you one more UFO story before we move on. But this we've talked about, but I haven't ever seen it so concretely put forward. And there are debunkers on this, and I'm curious what Mr. K's girlfriend thinks about this. But this is the story of when Jimmy Carter was debriefed about UFOs, because Carter, like Trump, came into office and he said, hey man, I've seen a UFO. Oh my God, City Ware, you're missing the point. Oh my God. I'm going to get to this argument in a minute with Jimmy Carter. Earth is not special for aliens. It's ridiculous, man. Please stop. I know. Okay. It's kind of like people who believe in aliens or God, they're so terrified. They just want to believe something. Right. Earth can be, in my mind, the entire universe is simply an organism and the internalized version of a body that's walking around somewhere. Just like we're bacteria on this thing, and Earth is just a cell, right? I'm not saying Earth is special, but do I think that maybe there are interdimensional beings and they share the space with us and we are discovering them? Do I think maybe when people evolve to a certain level, they do get to a point where they can perceive different things? Maybe not. But the idea of people it's almost like you want to go around and pop people's hope or balloons. I don't care. I don't care if we die and we have no consciousness and it's over. I would prefer it not. I don't care if there are no aliens. I'd like there to be. But that same kind of dogmatic view that anything that people think about or discuss or have a little hope for that can be ascribed to, you're just doing that because psychologically you want to feel X. I think that's just as damagingly dogmatic as pure religion or pure belief that aliens are real. Your mind is closed, and that's the most dangerous fucking thing. It's the most dangerous fucking thing is what I would say. Maybe the universe has laws that can't be broken. Distance is too far. No wormholes, just vast differences. Maybe, but you have to understand, if you go back to, Cro-Magnon, man, the idea of traveling to the moon, the idea of traveling across the quote state, whatever that distance was impossible to think about. So I'm not quite ready to assume that just because we don't understand it today, we won't understand it in 150,000 years. So, you got to put a brick there to make the road, baby. Okay. Have I heard about the myth of Apollo 17, 18, 19, and 20 and about a ship on the moon? I've heard a bunch of those, Jose, but I don't really, for every piece of proof, you get somebody pushing back with, no, this is what it actually was. And I don't know. It's meant to confuse and it's meant to grift. And all I know is Jay Styles is a good man and a good son to the mama who is having a birthday because he just gifted someone a goddamn membership here on this very channel. And I sure do appreciate that, Jay Styles. It's nice. It's kind. It's beautiful. It's a little bit erotic. Thank you, bud. Okay. Human existence is so amazingly small compared to cosmic time scale. Yes, 100%. Okay. Listen to this, though. Jimmy Carter. So Jimmy Carter believes in the UFOs. He gets into the White House. He says, hey, I want to know this shit. What's going down, CIA? And after he just kept bothering and saying, I need this information. I promised the people, blah, blah, blah. They pulled him into a room and they had, quote, the talk with him. Okay, now I'm just going to read this to you. This is from Ed Harris, a former research associate at NASA Ames Research Center. Is it true? I don't know. It's interesting. It's a good story if it's not true. Here's what Jimmy Carter was told. Here's what he was shown. Tech Protect, you know what I'm going to say?
I do not. I've not heard this before.
Ever heard this story? It's really kind of depressing. Here we go. He was told that major religions, and by the way, this stuff mirrors what people like Stephen Greer has said, for whatever that's worth to you, which may be nothing. I don't know. He was told that the major religions, including Christianity, of which he was a hugely big proponent of, were programs created by extraterrestrials to prevent us from destroying ourselves while they ran their experiments on us, and that they made us. At this moment, it became clear to Carter that such information could cause tremendous economic and social upheaval. I should add that I am not only a Christian, but a clergyman, so I am in no way attempting to promote atheism here. In fact, how God fits into this might be an interesting separate post. Nevertheless, these are the facts. And apparently, after he had this information, he put his hands in his head, or his head in his hands, and he cried. And then he was like depressed for like 3 weeks. In fact, it says afterwards it was reported he sunk his head in his hands and not only began to deeply sob, but he was visibly disturbed for some weeks afterward. Interesting. Mr. K says, sorry, I got a phone call about the UFO thing. We haven't spoken since Luna said that, but when she spoke, she said Congress people aren't getting anywhere. Yeah, they're probably being stonewalled, but we'll see. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on with our goddamn cockadoodie lives. Okay, now, you know what? I don't know why I find this horrific, but also fascinating. How many years is that? It's almost 20. I don't know if you know what you're looking at here. You might have already seen this going around the internet, but I'll share it anyway because I'm that kind of guy. Do you guys know what you're looking at right here? You guys know what you're looking at right here? You know what this is?
Is that a chimney?
Tech might know. Let me put my headphones back on. Tech, you know what this is?
Is that the chimney?
Yeah, you've heard this story, right?
Yeah.
18-year-old kid went missing in 2008. And in 2000, and they didn't know where he went. Did he run away? Was he murdered? We don't know. And then they were demolishing his home, and they discovered a body, his body, in the chimney. And he had been there for almost 20 years. It was 2018. No, he went in 2008. They discovered his body in 2015. So imagine a lot of them. There's so many things to imagine. Imagine however he got in here, being in that situation, and at first trying to get out. And then imagine maybe let me check the text. Maybe it wasn't his childhood home. Maybe it was, he went for a walk. Okay. It was discovered in the chimney of an old cabin near his home. So maybe he just kind of was like, oh, I saw a dog up there. Or yeah, it could have been somebody murdered him and put him in there, Jojo D. I get the sense that he kind of was exploring and he got stuck. And he was stuck in there, and imagine recognizing and realizing that no one's going to come get you. And this is it. I assume that you starve to death is how you go. unless he was killed before. But that idea of, I mean, think about that. Think about the fact that you could be, and this has to happen. You could be driving your car through your neighborhood, your city, wherever. At one point or another, Tech, do me a favor, look up how many people go missing in the United States every year. You could be driving your car, and you know at one point or another, you have passed a house that has someone trapped in a chimney or someone chained up in a basement or just some of these awful, someone buried alive in some serial killer's backyard, and it's all happening around you. I read somewhere that in any person's life, you pass someone who has murdered someone, like at least 3 times, I think. 600,000 people go missing every year. That's insane. 4,400 bodies are discovered. So what happens, Tech, to the, why do most people go missing? Are they trying to recreate their life, or are they going missing because they're being kidnapped, or what?
Look it up. I'll be back.
Yeah. Private Part says, did this guy get smoked? He may have. We don't know, or at least the story. I don't know if they did an autopsy, but it says the body was there for almost 20 fucking years. So, at that point, I don't know if you can autopsy a body from that long ago, although, and they've done it with archaeology. So I'm sure let's see what happened. How did what's this guy's name? Joshua Maddox. There we go. Of the Cincinnati Maddox, which sucks because they are a very good family. How did Joshua Maddox die? Hypothermia. Yeah, it was -6 degrees while he was stuck in the chimney. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. A builder demolished a building. So they basically, Chuck made the discovery of the body of a young man cramped into a fetal position with his legs above his head. He called the police, who arrived with the county coroner, who, with the help of a forensic odontologist, used dental records to identify the corpse of Maddox. Less than a mile from his home. Think about that. Crying out to your mom, to your dad, to your brother, to your family, hearing them go to school in the morning. The family was stunned. The situation doesn't make any sense. We were really expecting him to be anywhere else in the world, and he was very close. How heartbreaking. The only thing we can figure is he was being an 18-year-old kid checking out a cabin. It had already been abandoned for a long time, and an accident happened. There were no evidence of drugs in his body. The hard tissue showed no signs of trauma, no broken bones, no knife marks, no bullets. It was not an instant death. Now, how he died is only a matter of speculation, but we know he did not starve to death because that takes many weeks. So then you go down the chain and you have dehydration, which could take a few days. And the other thing would be hypothermia, which could take a day or two. We have no evidence. And it was -6 degrees. So, heartbreaking, fascinating, horrible. And you have to assume that this is happening all over the goddamn cockadoodie world. Why do most people go missing? For kids and young people, they run away. For adults, they're diagnosed with health issues, problems at home. So, in dementia. So those 600,000 people that go missing every year, a lot of it is sort of mental health issues. But I'm sure, look up how many people are abducted in the United States every year. I would love to know that. How would you really know, though, Blue Gamer? I mean, that's what they're saying. They're saying, as far as they can tell, we'll never know. But since we have ruled out foul play because of the autopsy, we have to assume, okay, well, let's go down the list, and it's either dehydration or hypothermia, basically. Okay. Tech's going to tell us, though, about, how many people are actually abducted, because that's the bad one. And you don't really know, right? Because if you don't know where they are, you don't know they've been abducted. Fewer than 350 people under 21 have been abducted per year. 100 cases per year are abductions by strangers. Think about that. It's still too high, of course, but Okay. I want to ask you guys a question now. I want to ask you a question because, I like the idea. Oh, I know, Doug. It makes me ill to think about. He says, Jaffe, do you know the Nutty Putt Cave where the guy died alone and upside down? Not only do I know it, but hang on, let me bring this up for people who don't. Nutty Putty Cave. The worst part is the diagram that you guys have seen. I'm sure this is a kid who was spelunking, and he basically put himself, up from down, I guess, is hard to tell in dark caves. I mean, obviously you'd assume gravity could help with that, but not so much. So this guy ended up getting stuck in a cave. Tech, you've heard about this one, right? Yeah. Stuck in a cave in this position. And people knew, no, it's not the Franco flick. People knew about this. Like he was with his buddies and they went and got help. And they were simply like, we can't get him out. Right. And so he knew he was going to die. And he knew he was going to die. And he just was like, this is it. And the claustrophobia could have driven. I mean, if you're a spelunker, you probably don't have claustrophobia. But my God, I mean, and if you're the parents or the loved ones of this kid, can you imagine? It's like, do anything. I don't care. Break his fucking ankles so we can, go in, break this part of his ankle. And so you can bend them abnormally, like throw in a couple of morphine pills, let him get numb, and then break these ankles and then pull him out a little, break his shins, pull him out, break him up to where you can pull him out. Right. I mean, that's what and again, I mean, obviously they probably tried everything. So Jonathan, you're saying they couldn't find him at first. Okay. I thought they knew he was there and they knew where he was there. And they were just like, we can't, like physics doesn't allow us, or spatial relations don't allow us because the way he fell in and got stuck to pull him out. But if they knew he was in there, but they couldn't find him, then sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Dano. I appreciate that. Okay. All right. Let us move on. I want to ask you guys a question. I don't think you're going to have the answer for it, but you might. Maybe you're smart. Maybe you're smart. I want to ask you, no, they knew. Okay. So Jonathan says they knew where he was, but they took a wrong turn. Okay. Good God. Good God. Okay. Just like it would be a wonderful experience to travel up in time every 1,000 years, because you get to know what we thought was real and ended up becoming bullshit. So I just discovered this today. Do you know what people used to think cavities were caused by? And I'm going to show you a carving of this because they did a carving. This is pretty fascinating that we as human beings believed it. But I'm playing this game right now, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, wonderful simulation, excellent. And, you put yourself in the headspace of somebody living in 1300 AD and you go, what is the moon, right? You can imagine it's fucking anything. It's like, is that God's eye watching us? What exactly kind of is this? And so the idea of what we thought caused cavities in the human mouth is insanely bizarre. It's not jizz. No, it's not toothworms. No, it's not infidelity. I'll show you. We'll wait for Tech Protect to come back because I think he's offended by this. He's bothered when people talk about teeth. It makes him very uncomfortable. The game. I only fell asleep yesterday just because I was tired. I love that game. I'm not that far in it, Roland. I'm probably 15%.
I am offended by teeth.
Yep. Now, here we go. This is the picture. I'm going to show you the picture on the stream. Not that. Ugh. People used to believe that cavities were caused by demons boring holes in their teeth. And this is what they thought they looked like. That there were little demons inside the teeth that were torturing people and making holes appear. This is how fucking stupid we are. And I appreciate the fact that, we have to learn and we have to grow and we have to evolve. But good God Almighty, can you imagine that we are part of a species that I guess we can, because we'll still believe anything to these days. But, we'll believe that Zelensky's a bad guy now, suddenly. Suddenly he's a bad guy. And, so we'll believe anything. Little demons. I love it.
I felt like that before.
Like what?
My teeth feel like there's little demons in them.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
I know. All right. Listen to this. What do we want? Here's some options. We got video game news. We got science news. We have another plane crash. We have Jaffe react to this on our Discord. We've got I got to show you this first. Then I want to know Tech Protect. Get a read on the audience. Find out what they want to engage with after I show this next story. But we can do some science, some weird science. We can do some video game news. We can do another plane problem. What is going on with the FAA? We can do Jaffe react to this. Find out from or we can look at some haunted houses that are pretty cool. I want you to find out what they want. But that said, first, let me tell you this quick story because I just think it's delightful. It's horrible, but it's delightful, but it's horrible. Listen, video of Donald Trump. You see this video of Donald Trump kissing real King Elon Musk's feet has been played on United States government screens. Screens at the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development were apparently hacked today, displaying a message, "Long live the real king," while an AI video of Donald Trump sucking the toes of Elon played in the background. It was a viral video directed by Quentin Tarantino. I added that last part. Let's check it out. Let me show it to you. This is what it looks like if you haven't seen it. It's going right to the top of the charts, folks. Here we go. And that is not just playing on the internet. That is actually out playing on government TV screens. And that's something. And that's something that we live in a world that's just easy to do. And isn't that something that tonight someone's going to be masturbating to this? I don't know what to tell you. But I mean, and it's on the goddamn government TV screens. Listen to this. Trump will see this. Oh, I hope he does. Andrea says, I traveled to Europe recently. Lots and lots of people from both left and right leaning sides do consider Ukraine to be on the wrong side. I don't even understand that. I mean, I'm not saying Ukraine has never done anything terrible. Every country has, but his country was invaded. They didn't attack anyone. It wasn't like, whatever you think of Israel and Hamas, it wasn't preempted or provoked by some event. Putin went in. So I don't know. Hey, I wouldn't be ashamed if I had a foot fetish. I just don't. And I think you can even prove it now, because the reason they say foot fetishes exist is because the erotic senses in the brain are very close to the part of the brain that gets the nerve stimulation when your foot is touched. And you could probably I don't know how you could track it. Maybe you have to wait till somebody dies and follow the nervous system. But the other thing that I found the other day, though, was that if you rub, did you know this? If you rub garlic on your feet, apparently there are people who can taste it. Look at this. Rub garlic on feet, taste in mouth. Have you ever done this? I got to go to the store tonight to buy some stuff. I might pick up garlic just because I want to try it. If you rub garlic on your feet, you can actually taste it in your mouth, because the molecules responsible for the smell can penetrate your skin, enter your bloodstream, and travel to your mouth and nose, allowing you to perceive its taste. Isn't that crazy? That's pretty cool. I'm going to try that tonight. I'll try that on stream maybe. Your girl won't let her, but I would love to put her feet in your mouth. Why would she not let you? I mean, it's not like she's asking you or you're asking her to do something really outside the box. Like, hey, can you dress up like an animal and sleep in the doghouse, and that's just my kink. You're just saying, hey, we're intimate anyway. Can I get up on them feet and them toes? What's the big deal? It's something special about garlic, I guess. It says the molecules responsible for the smell, allicin is what they say in parentheses it's called, can penetrate your skin. Now, maybe there are other foods that can do this as well. I don't know. If anybody can try it and call in, let me know what it's like. Mutant Mo, I agree. Anything that brings me pleasure is nowhere near the idea of shame. There, I think I got it right. Yeah, 100%. Okay. How about Bukkake says they said dipping your balls in soy sauce would let you taste it in your mouth? Sure. I mean, I would try it. I'd want to see what that does. I hear rubbing garlic on your willy, women can taste it. Well, that's a little different, of course. Fanto says, well, some people have very sensitive feet, and then they laugh and they can't do it. I get that. That's sure. Okay. Ghetto God says she hates when I lick her feet. She thinks it feels gross, but she'll let me lick her butthole all day long. That's something. People are fucked up and weird. We're so stupid. We're not ready to be released unto the world yet. We're so broken. But listen to this. Listen to what scientists have done. Listen to what they've done. Yeah, to rally, though, back to the Ukraine. I'm also from Europe, he says. Most people have eyes and know exactly that Putin invaded a peaceful country. One has to be a special kind of degenerate not to know that and see that. Yeah. Okay. Scientists successfully revived brain tissue. Now, this is something, folks. A lot of you religious people, I can't even bring up AI and you guys get upset with me. It's scary. Well, you're going to hate this, but this is delightful. This is fucking delightful. Scientists successfully revived brain tissue from suspended animation, and humans could be next. Look at this. It's the first time brain tissue has been cryogenically frozen and revived without any damage, my friends. In a process called vitrification, researchers treated slices of mouse brain with cryptotectins, which protected ice crystals from forming and destroying the tissue. When the slices of the brain were revived, my friends, they showed a return to electric activity, and it is possible they may even have held on to memories. Listen. A 2006 study that attempted to freeze and revive hippocampal slices from rats came close, but not enough evidence to prove if it actually did. But this time it actually did. They pulled it off. Okay. So the idea that you would be able to actually revive memories. I mean, think about that for a brief little moment in your life and go, if slices of your brain are actually capable of, like, we know that memory of Bukkake drive-by, having his first, coming out experience with a hobo, that is in this part of his brain, and we've removed it and then we've stimulated it. I mean, maybe just stimulating that part of the brain was conscious when it was stimulated and it like relived it. Or maybe it was like, oh my God, what the fuck? And was gone. I have no idea. But I'm absolutely there. I think it's fascinating. Fuck me, says Ravnos. We need a Jaffe Bukkake show once a week. I'm dead serious. Look, I've had Bukkake on the show. I think Bukkake is great on the microphone. But I get the audience going, it's crazy. They don't like Bukkake. And they're idiots. Like, part of me thinks I should bring him on some of the Laucal stuff from time to time because he's funny, he's sharp, he's a vulgar piece of shit. And it's kind of like a Make-A-Wish thing because he'll probably be dead soon because of the medical issues he's having. And so in that, I said he'll probably be dead soon because of the medical issues he's having. I'm a fan of him much better on the mic than the chat. Bukaki is hilarious, man. But whenever I brought him on, like when I have him on the video game shows and he's co-hosting with me, people are like, man, that guy's such an asshole. And again, but you know what I'm starting to think? I'm starting to realize, hang on, Dano, don't go anywhere. I want to talk to you. I want to ask you about that. Let's make sure, Dano, I don't know if you want to call in. I'd love to get your take on this. This is fascinating to me. But I'm starting to realize, though, that you really cannot please, like if you look at the chat and you read the comments, it's a real big fucking mistake not to read the comments and not to engage with the chat. Of course you want to do that. But to actually try to give them anything other than what you're prepared to give them, and that's it. Not because you don't care, but because there's so many different opinions, but they're still watching, right? So I'm doing this lolcow thing. I'll do it tonight. And I don't read the chat other than super chats when I'm doing that show because it throws me off my game. But what I will tell you is that particular show, for every Jaffe's a total loser perv, we hate that he's on the show, there's 3 or 4 people going, this guy is hilarious, this show is so much better, we love Jay and Jaffe, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, who are you supposed to listen to? So on one hand, it's just like, fuck it, I don't care. Look, if Bukaki wants to come on once a week and do a Let's Read the News show, I think it would be fucking great. Or if he wants to call in and the audience over on Lolcow likes him, I would love for him to call in maybe on the weekend show because I already have a co-host with Jay, but he can certainly call in to the show. I'd love to have him on. He's hilarious. I agree. Zeke says we need weekly calls with Gary Turbo. I like Gary Turbo a lot. He's funny and he's interesting, but you know. Okay, Dano Genesis says, I stopped watching this stream for almost a year. I'd like to know why. I've been trying to see what this has turned into. Okay. So seriously, I'm looking for feedback. I'm always trying to make the shows better. What has it turned into? By the way, the Jostler has dropped a super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says there are studies on taste receptors in the butt. Let me look that up. I think you're lying to me and you're a filthy, filthy man. One moment. If you rub food, I'm going to say anus so they don't think it's porn, on your anus, can you taste it? Okay. No, you cannot taste food by rubbing it on your anus because the anal area doesn't have taste buds. I know it doesn't have taste. Okay, what part of the body can taste? Yeah, it doesn't say that. So send me a link. But thank you, Jostler. And then another Jay Styles. Hey, it's your mom's birthday, Jay Styles. It's not mine. Stop gifting. He gifts another membership to the goddamn Diet Soda Soldiers. Thank you, Jay, very, very, very much. I appreciate that, buddy. Send the link to the Discord or Tech Protect or I don't fucking know. Just tell me what to Google. Tizco says, it's real, Jaffe. I just ate McDonald's that way. Yeah, and then Garlic Suppository says, man. Roland of Gilead says, Jaffe, look, man, I've been a fan of Rich's for years and I miss him. But you are great on it. If you haven't seen Jay go fucking nuts yet, oh, you don't know what I've seen. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the show. I'm glad we're delivering something good to you. I like Rich a lot too. So, oh no, Jay Styles says we're at the table at the restaurant talking about what you said. You gave us a moment. I would like to know where you're eating, not like the location, like address, but what restaurant have you decided to occupy is what I would like to know. Okay, let's move forward. Shall we? What do we got here? I want to show you. Things and the people in your neighborhood. Hey, you know what you're looking at here? It's kind of exciting if you're a kid of the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. Hey, it's strange. I wondered why so much food tastes like shit. Yeah. Check this out. Who's our celebrity in the Discord? I want to know. Check this out. Tell me what you think you're looking at here. I don't think you're going to know, but you might. What's this? What do you guys think? Anybody know? Anybody know what you're looking at? Don't be a baby. Don't be a baby. Tell me the truth. Yeah, where's P Turtle? Why is P Turtle not calling in? I'm getting annoyed about this. I need him on the stream right now because I got to talk to him. That's right, Rob the Mod, you got it. That is He-Man. Cheetah Man got it. That is the first thing they are releasing from the He-Man movie that I think is coming out into this year or sometime next year. Obviously, it's meant to be a teaser, but, it already looks better than the canon movie with Dolph Lundgren. He said he can't call. What a little bitch. I thought he was like an alpha dude. I was going to give him an opportunity to grow his fucking brand. I was going to give him an opportunity to call into the Lau Cow show. What a bitch. See, this is what I want to say to you guys. Oh, you're at a steakhouse in Georgia. Excellent. Well, you guys seriously have a good time. I hope the food is great. And happy birthday to your mama. That's a wonderful thing. Nice. You are a nice son, good Sir Jay Styles. But you have seen and been very intimate with her vagina. That's all I'm saying. Look. Yeah, he totally fucked up. This is a guy who talks about what a man he is and how alpha he is. And then I show up and I say, you know what? I think I found a place for you where the audience will actually appreciate your gifts and they will potentially turn you into the fame monster that you clearly want to be. Mutant Mo says P will pop if he goes on that network. You goddamn right. And I will have created him. But I can't call in. My girlfriend won't let me. What a bitch. An alpha, just do me a favor, Mutant Mo. If you're talking to him in the Discord, let him know that an alpha would call in. An alpha for an opportunity to become rich and famous would absolutely put everything else aside and say a man fucking delivers. He delivers the goddamn paycheck. And he would call in. Yeah, I can't. I'm busy. I can't. Idiot. What a fake, phony fuck. What a fake, phony, pink pony club fuck. Good God almighty. All right. Here's the deal. Where's Tech Protect? Don't I have a producer here? Who the hell is this? Who is this?
It's P Turtle.
What the fuck do you mean you can't call into the show?
I have a life. I can't just call in whenever you tell me to.
Let me explain something. I'm considering offering you a life-changing opportunity and you choose to live your dumb life. I thought you were a fucking man that shows up when opportunity presents itself.
I'm not even watching your show right now. I had no clue about any of this.
Well, let's be clear. I think you should tune in to tomorrow's episode or tonight's, but certainly tomorrow's episode.
I can't do tonight, but tomorrow I can do.
Again, I will, what happened when they said, hey, Michael J. Fox, the dude playing Marty McFly is not working out. You want this role of a lifetime. Did Marty McFly, did he say, I can't do it this week, fellas. I'm going fishing with the boys. Or did he fucking show up on the Universal backlot and change the world?
He changed the world. Oh, can I just make one request?
Yeah.
I need to talk to that Becky girl. I'm in love with her.
Okay, well, I can make your dreams come true, but what about your girlfriend? And Becky's too old for you.
Who cares about my girlfriend?
Okay, well, what about the fact that you only date young illegal people?
No, I don't. I'm just attracted to them.
You said you dated a 17-year-old.
I'm currently dating a high schooler, but it doesn't mean I like her.
Okay, so if I would love to hook you up, I would love for you to call in. I think that universe might genuinely enjoy your idiocy.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I do want to talk to Becky, but don't they require you to put on a camera and stuff?
I don't know what they require. It's my show and Jay's show.
I'll go on there. We'll wing it.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
All right. Well, tomorrow
here's why I'm different. Here's why I'm different in that universe. I don't need them. I appreciate them. I learn from them. I certainly don't agree with a lot of things that Keemstar has said in the past on his videos. I am you all know I'm the most progressive guy, and you wish you could be me, but at least you get to have proximity to me, and that's something. But what I will say, that there's a lot of good stuff about. I mean, I'm learning a lot from these guys. They're really smart. They're really sharp. And so, yeah, I think, but yeah, it's my show and Jay's show, so I don't give a fuck. Your charisma and idiocy is strong enough to demolish the rule of needing to be on camera when you call
I
it.
agree. I have a talent. But can I say something to you real quick? Not even joking. This is from the bottom of my heart.
You have a heart?
You going on that show
Yeah.
was an incredible move, and I respect it. It's an alpha move.
Yeah, but Ravnos is disappointed in me.
I think Ravnos will come around. I think for you to take a risk like that, you're willing to alienate some people, but sometimes you have to do that to, you know, make a positive change in life. Yeah. And I respect it. I think what you did is a very manly thing, and I'm ready to do it tomorrow.
But you understand that when I get your respect, that means I'm probably doing something wrong. That's like getting respect from like Al Capone, right? It's like, well,
that's how I feel when you invite me to something called what is it, Lol Cow?
It's called Tech Talk, and I'll tell you something. That title, the only reason Tech Talk will survive is because now it's so stupid a title for what the show has become, and it is such a joy, honestly, to look at the chat. And when they say things like, this isn't tech, when are you going to talk about tech? And I'm just like, oh, you poor sad son of a bitch.
I love the Becky girl. I saw the one episode with you on it, and when she kept coming in and they kept paying her to go off, I'm like, I'm in love with this woman. I like that she could take jokes.
Yeah,
they make fun of her looks. They make fun of everything. And I'm like, she just rolls with it. Amazing.
But she is too fucking old for you.
Well, like I said, I'm attracted to different things. I like that she can take a joke. That's hot to me. I've only loved one girl in my life outside of her, and that's Gina. But Gina has a boyfriend, so
Gina, like Gina from my show and her podcast?
Yeah, I'm in love with
her. Dude, she doesn't have a boyfriend anymore, by the way.
Whoa, what the hell happened?
I don't know. Maybe
tell her to call in and tell us.
She's too good. She's too good for most dudes. She's awesome. I've known Gina for many years. She is whip smart, incredible person, but maybe she's just like, you know, she kicked that dude to the curb.
Did she dump him or he dumped her?
I don't know the details other than I think she decided that this wasn't the right thing. I don't think that was a negative for her. I don't think she's like, he's a bad dude or anything. I just think she was like, I'm not looking for this. So maybe they were moving really fast and she didn't want that.
We should go on a double date.
Oh my God.
You bring Tina, I bring Gina. How amazing would that be?
I could get, and again, don't bring her up because it's making me sad. I'm working through the heartache right now. But what I would say though, is if I could bring her into my life in such a romantic way, I would get one of those props from Empire Strikes Back where Luke had Yoda on his back. And I would carry her into the Olive Garden like that. And I think we'd get one of those rounds of applause, like at the end of an Officer and a Gentleman or a rom-com. And everybody would just be like, yeah, you know, I would do it. I would do it. So
I would love
hey, wait a minute. Jaffe put in a good word for me. I'm a therapist, well-educated. Machine X, I would love for you to call me, please. Or hit me up on Discord. I do want to talk to you about something. Please hit us up or Tech Protect on Discord. Where is my producer?
He's right here. You're talking to him.
Yeah, no, okay. Wait, where's he going? I think he had to go run outside real quick. Okay.
All right. Well, listen, I gotta go, but I'll definitely call him tomorrow. What time do you stream?
Well, I'm streaming. Me and Jay stream every night at 8 o'clock. So I will be on the show tonight at 8 o'clock, and we'll be on tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Okay. All right. So I'll call in.
And I don't know if you have to be a member to call in. So if you do, just hit me or Tech up in our Discord, and we'll figure out a way to put you on, because I don't want to ask you to pay to be on, given that we're asking you to come on as a guest.
Yeah, and I could be a black guy. I feel like that's offensive.
Goodbye.
All right. I'll talk to you.
Yep. There he goes, folks. There he goes, folks. Out into the evening. I expect Alana Pierce to I don't know what that means. Okay. Yeah, you goddamn right, Machine XP. Discord's awesome. I got my ex-wife and brother on Discord, and both of them hate that kind of shit. And they're, at least my ex is using it all the time. Her and I watched the documentary together last night. She was at home. I was here with Will Ferrell and the writer. It was called Will and Harriet or something from SNL. It was great. Great movie. So Discord's great, man. Okay. Fellas, that's the show. Thank you for hanging out. Jay Styles, Jostler, Venom Quest. Thank you guys for really supporting the show with your ducats. Members, thank you. If you liked what you heard, what's it going to kill you to leave a like? A little thumbs up helps me in the algorithm. If you hated it, I appreciate that, but do the goddamn downvote and then tell me in the comments why this sucks and what we can do to make it better. consider a membership, a subscription. Go on over later tonight to Locale Tech Talk. I'll tweet it out and I'll put it on the Discord. And I'm straight. You know how it goes when it gets. I think there's actually a scientific study when it starts to get darker and the sun starts to go down, and we are getting there. It's like 4:40 here in California. You start to get a little. I don't know. I'm starting to feel a little depressed now because I was, the sun was out, my window's open, I was having a day, and then I'm starting to remember what happened to me and how I was treated by her. And, I'll be fine. I'm still going to do the show. I'm a pro. I show up. But I'll be fine. All right. You guys be well. And thank you for watching. And I'll see you tomorrow or tonight. Hopefully both. All right. Bye, you guys.